What's going on, everyone? In this tutorial, I'm going to explain what in-text citations and references are so that we're clear. All right, so in-text citations give credit to your source. They help you avoid plagiarism and build your ethos, meaning your credibility as a researcher and writer. All right, so say you found a great sentence from a source that you want to use in your paper. If you copy that sentence directly, meaning you highlight that sentence from the source, copy it, paste it into your paper word for word, then it is a direct quote. All right. So these are two ways to make sure that you correctly format that information that's taken directly from the source, and to also give it credit in APA format, since in this class we use APA. All right. I made up this article. I'm pretending this is an article. A source can be anything. It can be an article. It can be a page on a website. It can be a video from YouTube. It can be a movie, a documentary, a book. But just for the example purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to say article. And I made up this quote, and I'm pretending I'm the author. All right. So one way you can do is where you start the sentence with the author's last name, and then you put the year that was, oops, ignore that, sorry, that it was published in parentheses. So Maluli, 1997, said, you need some kind of transition word there, said, stated, argued, questioned, something like that. Said, comma, quote, coffee is bad to consume because of its addictive qualities and it also stains teeth, end quote. You need the quotation marks because it's not your words. It is from the source, word for word. So you're telling the audience, hey, I didn't write this. Here's a quote, all right, from the source. And then remember that with a direct quote, you need to also put the page number that it's found on. All right, so this is one way you can do the parenthetical in-text citations, where you have the author, year, and page like that. Make sure you always have the quotation marks if it's taken directly. I made this up. I don't agree that coffee is bad. I'm drinking coffee as I'm making this video. So this is just kind of just for practice. Hopefully you all find more interesting quotes from whatever you are working on at the moment. Example 2, there's a different way you can do it, where you just start by introducing the quote. Always introduce your quotes if you choose this example, meaning don't start a sentence with a quote. Have some kind of transition into it. It is stated that, or something, information has said that, something like that. It is stated that, quote, you still need the quote, same quote, but coffee is bad to consume because of its addictive qualities and it also stains teeth, end quote. And then you can just put all the source information at the end of the sentence if you'd rather do that. Author, remember APA is author, last name, year, and then the page if it's a direct quote. All right. Either one of these options is fine. I always tell students that if you're new to APA, if you're new to research, or if it's been a while, maybe example 2 is the best because it reminds you just to keep everything at the end. Always have the parentheses where you see them here. All right. And just a note, don't let a quote go more than 2 lines. What I mean by that is, do you see how this quote is 2 lines? Line 1, line 2. Don't let it go more than that, meaning don't copy and paste an entire paragraph. The research is supposed to be mainly your writing, and you use sources just to reinforce what's being discussed. All right? So don't let it go more than 2 lines. And then remember, we looked at an APA template in class before, and I'll have that provided for you online. If you can't find that template, send me an email and make sure you get it. The APA template's really helpful. It just explains certain rules with APA in more detail. You can also use a website called Purdue. If you go on Google and you type in Purdue OWL APA, make sure to type in APA as well. It's a really helpful website. Or ask me. I'm your instructor. Now this depends on the sources. Some sources don't have authors. This is going to happen more with websites. That's why I warn against websites in general, because you don't know the credibility of them. Anybody can create a website. People can create blogs and write about whatever they want. So I always say to stay away from websites, but it really just depends on your topic. But if you run into this issue and there's no author, then what you do where the author is supposed to go, so for example right here, just put the title of the source instead. So I'm just gonna make up the article title. Coffee is dangerous. All right. This is so dramatic. All right, so you would do that instead. And then if you did this example, if you're following this format, then you can just say in the article, coffee is dangerous. Maybe we should just say the article. The article coffee is dangerous said. All right, so if you have that issue, just where the author is supposed to go, replace it with the title instead. If there's no date, so we need the date here, then you just replace it with the word n.d. All right, that means no date. So n.d. keep the parentheses. All right, n.d. All right. If there's no page number, count the paragraph number that the information came from. So if I couldn't find, if there was no page 5 here, make sure you write para instead. So I'll pretend that this came from paragraph 6 of the article. Make sure you change it to para.6. All right. So that's how you would do it. Make sure you're following that. All right. I'm just going to go back to the original just so I can have it to reference. Okay. Okay, there we go. So that's ways of using the direct information. Always use those little parentheses for direct quotes. All right. If your source has a lot of information that you'd like to use, but it's too much for word, for example, if you found a full paragraph and you really want to use it in your paper, but you can't use a paragraph because that's too lengthy for direct quotes, you can still use it. Just do option 2, the paraphrase option. Paraphrase is information still taken from the source, so it's not your idea, so you still have to give credit, but you're rewording it. All right, so it's the same format in terms of what the author, last name, and year, but just little differences. So there's 2 ways to correctly format a source using the paraphrase option. Example 1, again, the author and the year. Maluli described coffee as a danger because it can cause unhealthy side effects. What's different is I got rid of the quotation marks because it's not word for word anymore. It's my own wording, all right? But you still have to do the in-text citation because it's not my idea. I'm taking the idea from the source. All right. Or you can do it at the end again, like you saw in the other example. Coffee is a danger because it can cause unhealthy side effects. Still need the author and the year. All right. Note that paraphrases are great ways to practice summarizing skills. Just be careful because I struggle with this too. You don't want to get too close to the original source information. So for example, with this quote, it was difficult for me to reword it because I didn't want to take these words to be too similar in my paraphrase. All right. You can write your entire report using just direct quotes. You can write your entire report using just the paraphrase. You can mix and match. It's entirely up to you. I think it depends on what information you're dealing with. All right. Notice too that if there's not an author, you still do the same thing. Coffee is dangerous. Coffee is dangerous. All right. If there's not a date, same thing, n.d. All right. But what's missing, what's different, is for a paraphrase, you don't need the page or paragraph number because it could be taken from several different areas in the report, several different paragraphs, so you don't need the specific location for that. All right. So what's the difference between the two? All right. Now let's jump to the reference page. At the very end, because the in-text citations are used in your actual writing. While you're writing these paragraphs, you put these in-text citations. But the very end of the report, you need a new page titled References. Make sure to title it References because that's APA. All right. The references, what that is, it's a list of all your sources that you found in the paper, that you used in your paper. So what's the difference between this, in-text citations, and this, references? I'm going to tell you that. So first of all, you need both. All right, you absolutely need in-text citations right after you use a source in your writing, but you also need a reference page, all right? Because the in-text citation only tells us a few things. It only tells us who the author is and the date and the page number, if even. All right. But that doesn't tell the audience where they can find that source, what the title of that source is, what the publication information is. All right. So this doesn't tell us everything. All right. So the reference connects what your audience reads here to the end in the reference. They can find the entire source information, meaning the title of the source, publication information, and a link to where they can find it. That's why it's called the point of reference. All right, so it depends what type of source you have to complete for a reference. So again, use that APA template I provided for you. Also, again, Purdue OWL APA. All right, or ask me. But here's a quick example. We're pretending that for this tutorial that this was an article. All right, so this would be how you format an electronic article. Electronic article means that you found it online, that you didn't go to the store and buy it hard copy. All right. Electronic sources, I think, are probably going to be what we're dealing with right now, more than ever, just with technology. And it's just the most resourceful because you have the internet now at your fingertips. All right. Of course, don't shy away from books. Books are awesome, and hard copy prints, they're just sometimes harder to find. So if this was the last page of your report, you would title it references, and then you would follow this template for an article. So with APA, you do the author's last name first, comma, their first, what this is their initial, the first name initial. You don't spell out their first name in APA. If they have a middle name, you also do the middle name initial right after. All right. So initial only. Then you need the parentheses, year, month, and day that it was published. If month and day is missing, that's okay. Just put the year. The title of the article, remember that titles, only the first word is capitalized in APA, everything else is lowercase, unless you have a proper noun, that meaning, the United States or a name of somebody, a place, then you would leave that capitalized. If there's punctuation in the title, like a comma or a colon, the word after the punctuation is also capitalized. All right. And then the title of the newspaper, meaning the title of where it was published, where that article was published, you also need here as well in italicized, meaning it's slanted, the slanted font. All right, the I right there. And then you write the word retrieve from, and you copy and paste that link of where I can find the article. So just for an example, in the tutorial we've been using, author last name, Maluli. First name, my first name is Renee, so I would just put R, period. And then parentheses, published 1997, comma, April 5th, close parentheses. The title of the article was Coffee is Dangerous, and I only capitalized coffee. And then I'm pretending that I found it in the New York Times, so it's like that, title of newspaper. And then I write the word retrieve from, and it would be the real link to the article if this article existed. All right, so that would be the reference. Let me delete this template after you have what it looks like. All right, this is what one of my sources would look like on the reference page. And now hopefully you can see how this connects, where if I'm reading your paper and I see, ooh, they used the source, Maluli 97. All right, so I'm going to go to that reference page, look through the list of references, and I see Maluli there, and I could find the rest of the information. So that's a difference, but if you have questions, let me know. Research can be stressful, so if you have any questions or concerns, reach out to me, all right? And y'all take care.